Today, I would like to talk a little bit about the future of product management. I'm writing a series of blog posts right now on what product development might look like in 6 or 7 years. It's been fascinating. But what I wanted to talk about is the basic characteristics, what I think will change in product development in really 5 to 7 years. I think it's going to be very rapid change. I think it's going to be very disruptive. And the first thing that I imagine is that we will need far fewer people to create the same outputs that we generate today. And if we think about a traditional product team, you've got product managers, UX, engineers, Q. All those people will have their work augmented to the point that one person can do what 3 or 4 people do today. Really believe that. Product managers will have better decision support than ever. They will have the internet at their fingertips in a very intelligent way beyond just doing Google searches. They will be able to simulate the response of things like, potential customers very easily. Engineers, that's a no-brainer. You will need very few engineers who will become exception handlers. The code will primarily be generated. The applications will be generated probably with low-code inputs. And you will still need people to do some of the really heavy, odd lifting to deal with exceptions. These frameworks won't be perfect, but the role will change. You will need far fewer people. Same thing goes for Q. We've been talking for 15 years about automated testing. Testing will be almost purely automated, 95% with very little effort. And people will use software more like a user, I think. These testing things is what I mean to say, will just log on and use it much like a user. It won't be just some testing framework. So far fewer people are going to be required. The speed at which things happen is going to be much faster. So we will go through discovery and the deployment of an MVP in days sometimes a couple of weeks. And at first, we're going to mess that up. We will flood the market with a bunch of crap. But eventually, that will get more mature. And you will see, I'm studying discovery right now. It's insane. You can do in a few days what used to take months, and it costs virtually nothing. So the speed at which we do things is really going to change, and it's going to have an impact on the roles. So product managers very soon will be able to build and deploy applications that basically work without ever talking to an engineer. In some cases, if we think about an MVP, I want to build an app that does something fairly simple based on data that's already in my organization. I'm going to be able to, in a low-code or no-code environment, maybe with the help of a slightly more technical person, I think what we think of as a technical product manager will change, and they will be a little more implementation-oriented using these tools. But we are going to be able to deploy scalable applications that follow a lot of UX conventions and are good enough so that we can very quickly get validation of our ideas. So these are just a few of the changes I think are going to happen. I would be preparing myself. The things I would be looking at doing are making sure you understand AI and its role and positioning yourself as somebody who really gets it and how it can make a strategic difference. I would be working on my business chops. Those are the PMs, by and large, who are going to survive, the ones who can demonstrate they get the business and can make a business difference. And then I would think about really getting to know, especially if you like implementation, these low, no-code environments. I think there's going to be a big role for PMs who can do the whole thing, who can very quickly jump in, do some discovery, do a little bit of validation, crank an MVP, get it on the air quickly, and then adapt. So, hope this was helpful.